what if someone wanted to, hey, I want to put on muscle, 10 pounds of muscle the next year. How can I integrate juices into that? Do you do that as well?
Yeah, it's funny you actually mentioned that, because I had a client that was looking to get more protein intake, and they wanted to get a little bit more bulkier. So I did things that are high in protein. Obviously, you're not going to get as much protein with fruits and veggies. Maybe with certain foods like broccoli or like tempeh or like certain like grains or legumes. That, yeah, but you can't include that in a actual juice. You can, but it'll become a smoothie, you know? So the texture will definitely change. But if you're looking more for protein, especially with vegetables, it will have to be definitely beets. Beets is like the number one power source for protein intake. Why? Because it opens up your blood, like your blood vessels, and it allows more circulation. So when you have more circulation, it allows recovery for your body as well. So when you're doing like a heavy workout and you just need that juice to go to, if you can solely just drink, like, I'll do a power combo here. It'll be like beets, watermelon, and a lime. If you do that right after a workout, you'll be pretty much golden.
Really?
You'll feel like you'll feel like such a calm, soothing recovery that you'll want to do it again, like literally like 2 hours later. Huh. So I do that, for example, when I'm working out legs at the gym, I'll literally have my beet and watermelon. Sometimes I'll add like the lime or lemon, whatever I have available, I'll add it. And if I don't, just the watermelon and the beets, it's completely fine.
You are vegan, you said, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. How would so like, this is what I personally do. I'll have beans, oatmeal, and then I'll have, chicken, steak, and also some salmon and shrimp. So a lot of the good thing about seafood is that it's lower calorie, a little more lean. But,
right.
I do also believe, and I've heard from very intelligent sources, that meat inflames your digestive system. And as great as it tastes sometimes, I definitely do feel that. So I want to get your take on, number one, vegan versus my, half vegan, half carnivore diet. And and number two, how you would eat if you want to, maintain a very strong physique while putting on muscle.
So in this case, the vegan versus, obviously a lot of people are going to have a lot to say on, vegan versus carnivore or whatever, but I try to keep it as simple as possible. And in this case, I'll just relay it with just one quick saying that I always go to is when you're eating meat and you're eating, no matter if it's 100% grass fed, 100% natural, or like the cage free eggs or whatever, right? So whenever it says something like that, it's still dead, So when you're consuming something that's dead, how do you think what the outcome is going to be? You're going to feel sluggish. You're going to feel dead. You're not going to have that motivation. Most people say, oh yeah, but I eat raw meat and I feel amazing. You have no idea what you're doing to your body when you're eating like that raw meat. They say it's good and like the research, but you can't believe everything you see online. You definitely can't. And as far as the meat itself, you don't know what that animal had. You don't know how many things they injected into it. It's not like before. Like times before, okay, I can maybe see it. But nowadays, everything's so modern, I feel like it's not even actual animal at this point, because they add so much to it. But in this case, I would say the difference between what a vegan eats, like what I consume, for example, is stuff that makes you feel alive, stuff that's just grown from the earth, So for example, a lot of people think it's just salad, not. And we actually have a variety of dishes that we can kind of make in the kitchen rather than someone who makes just like chicken or resorts to seafood and stuff like that too. By the way, I have a lot to say about seafood, but I'll get there. But in this case, for example, what I eat, what I kind of resort to the most is legumes, red kidney beans, black beans. There's chickpeas, there's lentils. If you're really looking for protein, stick to lentils and chickpeas. They have a lot of protein. Tofu has a good amount of protein, mushrooms, and this is bizarre, but nuts and seeds in your smoothies or just naturally taken will definitely have a lot of protein, more than what you would eat in like a steak or, certain things like that as well. Huh. And it's crazy because it's so tiny. For example, chia seeds too, they're packed with protein. They're packed with omega-3s. So if you're really looking for omega-3s, but you eat a lot of seafood, you can start switching out into flax seeds, chia seeds. There's certain type of seeds that really cover everything that you would take in like a small little dish that you're so used to eating, like steak or chicken or turkey, salmon, codfish, I don't know, anything. It really does replace everything. And we actually have more protein in so many small things. So, for example, nuts, seeds, fruits, veggies, legumes mostly, and then grains such as quinoa. So quinoa is packed with protein too. So take it this way, if you're adding that natural protein, let's say quinoa, I'll put a simple dish for you. Quinoa, sweet potatoes, broccoli, tempeh, tofu, mushrooms, and let's say you want to throw some red kidney beans in there, or chickpeas or lentils. Let's say lentils. You throw that there, you're getting so much protein, more than what you would consume in let's say a steak, rice, and potatoes.
You're getting 50, you're getting 50, 75 grams right there? Something like that?
For the dish that I mentioned before with the sweet potato? Yeah, literally. And it's so easy to get to that point, and it's natural too. So
it goes down better.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you're working out, you feel the effect of it. You're working off of that nutrient rather than, for example, I'll put it this way. I have so many examples, but I'll put it this way. When you're eating 100 grams of steak versus 100 grams of broccoli, what do you think has more protein?
Steak.
That's a question.
Yeah.
The steak? So that's actually wrong.
Really?
So in this case, 100 grams of steak, depending on which one, obviously, but let's put it like as a broad example. 100 grams of steak has 4 grams of protein, and then it has obviously the fat and whatever goes as follows. The broccoli has 11 grams of protein and 100 grams of serving. So right then and there, you're already getting more protein than the steak, and it fills up your stomach. So what I want to say with that is when you're eating steak and you're eating all these red meats and stuff like that, it's acidic, number one, and number two, imagine this is your stomach, this size right here. The steak is going to sit all the way down here, and you're still going to feel like you got to stuff your face, or you're going to feel kind of like, inflamed, like you said as well, because it's so acidic. But when you're eating the broccoli, it literally fills up the whole space, so you're full. So a lot of people, they can't eat like a whole plate of broccoli. Why? Because it fills them up quicker. So that's one way that I don't know how to describe it, but it just like, it fills your stomach up to the point where you really don't need to rely on anything else through that moment. So you're controlling your portion. It naturally controls your portions for you.
Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out your math. I was like, wait, how is it steak have less? But it's because, steaks are bigger, so you get more protein. But if you actually look at the grams of each one, it's just like you don't eat broccoli in bulk like that. But maybe I should.
Another thing too.
Yeah.
No, and the amount of times that you do it, both. You have to chew both a good amount of times for it to digest well. But especially with broccoli and stuff like that, like the green vegetables, you definitely got to make sure you're chewing accordingly. And they actually say that every little bite, you know how many times you're supposed to chew? Technically, like 34 times. So imagine picturing that. Let's say you're eating an apple. When you're eating an apple, imagine how many bites you got to take out of that apple, and then every single bite you got to do like 34 bites before you can swallow it. Imagine that's actually taking it serious, but that's a different level because a lot of people can't do that.
Yeah, that's.
But if you're making your stomach work, you're tricking it. So once again, you're beating the system. Does that make sense?
No, I'm learning too much. My brain's on overload. What do you think about oatmeal?
Oatmeal's good. It's good, but to a certain extent. Once again, balance. So you can't have oatmeal every second of the day, but you can have it. Let's say, I don't recommend it too much in the morning. I would recommend it maybe like afternoonish to night.
I have it at night, like midnight oats. So I'll have like natural oatmeal, heavy in protein, and I'll throw some raisins and blueberries. Yeah. And
that's good.
Almond milk or I'll put water, one of the two.
If you drink it with water instead of milk, it's a lot better.
Yeah.
But you also make sure that the consistency of the oatmeal, it's not too thick, because as it's that thick, it will literally stick to the intestines of your wall. Like the wall intestines, sorry. Yeah. It'll literally stick to your wall intestines, and you'll start to get like constipated. That's why too much oatmeal it's not too great for you as well. So if you're eating it at a certain amount of time, or let's say you really want to kind of like clear out your intestines and you haven't had oatmeal in a while, that's when it will be good for you.
Yeah, I have it like once a day. like at night?
If you really want to try something new for your body, especially because once again, it depends if you're really fasting, if you're not fasting, if you're going to take it to the point where you really want to be determined to fast, I won't recommend it. But there's most people that do overnight oats packed with protein. Like vegans that I know, they pack that, like they pack it with chia seeds. They throw some nuts on there.
Yeah.
They throw their own protein powder, like, the vegan protein powder.
Yeah.
They throw some supplements in there too. It's weird. Like the combinations are bizarre, but when they consume that, it covers them the whole morning. And if they're doing a workout early in the morning, it has a lot of benefits to it. And it's natural. It's that clean source of protein. So it really depends. But remember, you don't want to take too much oatmeal. So it's good. At the end of the day, it's good.
But good oatmeal, not like the ones in packets, I assume.
Yeah. The natural, like the more natural the oatmeal is, the better. So not the packets that they serve with like the cinnamon flavored and no, stay away from that.
They taste so good though. I put some natural.
Yeah.
I'll put some natural cinnamons and some berries.
You know what I do when I'm oatmeal, and I haven't eaten it in like probably close to a year, if I'm being honest. But when I used to eat oatmeal, I'll do water with the oatmeal. I'll keep it until like a kind of liquidy. I don't like it too thick, but like to that point where it starts to develop that thickness. And then I'll add a cinnamon stick to it, not cinnamon powder, cinnamon stick. And the way that it kind of releases the flavor of the cinnamon stick, it's different. But then I'll chop up some banana and I start to overload it with fruit. Yeah. And then once you do that, throw nuts and seeds into it. Like for example, if it's at night and I really want to just consume it, like let's say I'm going to bed at like, 7. Well, I'm starting to eat my last meal like 7:30. I'll eat the oatmeal because it's light, it's nice, it fills you up. But when you're doing like, let's say pistachios, it has a lot of melatonin. So it's actually packed with melatonin. So people who are eating those gummies with melatonin, stick to pistachios. Get like a handful of pistachios and you'll fall right asleep.
Yeah. That's the thing with nuts.
Yeah, but you gotta
have a handful, not a, carton full like I do. What about beans? Beans are good, right? In
beans are really,
like black beans, less flavor.
They're depending on how you use them. For example, like for me, if I really want to do like a barbecue and stuff like that, I'll make beans. I'll eat the plate of beans with like quinoa or, potatoes or whatever I have handy. I'll eat that. And then the remains of it, like the leftover, I can literally whip it up in the food processor and just kind of blend it with oats. So you can blend it with oats. You can blend it with like dried lentils too. It really depends, but it's so versatile. You can make burgers out of it. You can make the little patties. Well, those are the burgers. You can make anything, literally anything. So actually, it's interesting. So the pulp from the juices, for example, if I'm doing like a beet juice, the pulp from that juice of the beets, I take that beet and I put it in with like lentils and I put it in with like the beans, and you can make like those black bean burgers. You can make that as natural. So it's interesting. It's really interesting. But beans in general, yes, they're really good, and they're packed with so many nutrients, protein, fiber, everything you can think of.
Stuff from the earth.
So I definitely, if you can steer into the idea of consuming more legumes in general, I definitely recommend it. And if you're looking for protein intake, like, if you're looking to do like for your physique, definitely lentils and chickpeas. They're packed with protein. And tofu. If you can add tofu in there, you'll be good.
All right.